Indeed, for me, I'm an outsider player from the discussion, representing a regional parliamentary organization. PAME, the Parliamentary Assembly of the Mediterranean, is a body created in 2005. We have our headquarters here in Malta, and it's a typical organization where you have as members the national parliaments of 28 member states, from Mauritania to Portugal via Jerusalem. And it's the only body where you can see active discussion around the same table: Israeli, Syrian, Algerian, Lebanese, discussing concrete topics. And what is the difference between our system and the discussion among governments? That the parliamentarians represent both positions. So you have different sensibilities in the discussion, which is very interesting when we come to our work. And also in our system, there is a perfect balance, if you want, between countries of the north and the south. We have a political bureau with 4 members from the north and 4 members from the south. And every 2 years, the presidency rotates to one country of the north and one country of the south, which also shows a very balanced approach in terms of discussion. We have also one advantage compared to other organizations. We got the permanent observer status at the General Assembly of the United Nations, which gives us a privileged relation with the UN, but also the possibility to take the floor to address messages at a number of fora, from policy to economy and human rights, in our proper capacity, voicing the concerns of 28 member states. And just to give you an example, we are the partner of the UN Security Council in the implementation at the parliamentary level of the resolutions on terrorism and the various measures on foreign fighters. Let's come now to the theme of the meeting today. And our parliamentarians, you know, they are university professors, they are businessmen, civil society, men, women, with a different background. So they feel part of the society, and they felt the need to establish a PAME panel dedicated to trade and investment. And this panel is composed of representatives of the productive sector, of the banks, of the investment institution, the Bretton Woods, United Nations, and others, so that around the same table you can have the key players who can voice their problem, their concern, best practices about a certain topic in the economic sector, and the parliamentarians can try to come up with a solution within their own national parliament or in institutions such as ours in a collective way. And just to give you an idea of the topics which are discussed, let me read a few of them. Finance and investment, of course, food security, which is critical for our region, also if you consider population movement and climate change, security, small and medium-sized enterprises, energy, infrastructures, sustainable development, trade facilitation, waste management, employment, recognition of titles, and the issue of workers' movement. It's very easy for a European company to work in Morocco. It's extremely difficult for a Morocco company to work in Europe when you look at the present situation. And out of this meeting, you have a number of recommendations that eventually go back at the legislative level to find a solution. And we have seen a number of success stories on that. You remember that there was a strong opposition by a number of Central European countries to the establishment of a Mediterranean development investment institutions. What our parliamentarians have done, worked with the government from our region, and within the Deauville Partnership, the G8, managed to push for the extension of the mandate of a number of institutions to operate in the south. And this is very successful. It's brought to a signature on our side of MOUs with the EBRD, the European Investment Bank, the World Bank, and the World Trade Organization has just requested to strengthen cooperation with us. This is helping also to look at how the Deauville Partnership works. And when countries like Tunisia come to us and say, we don't see the result, allow us to go to London, to the EBRD, and say, what is the problem? Let's try to discuss and find the solutions. Our region is going through a very difficult period. You have heard the colleagues who took the floor before me. I was with Antonio Tajani in Tunisia for a meeting with the young entrepreneur. The cycle is very clear. Lack of stability, lack of investment, lack of foreign presence to move the market. Unless we break that cycle, we will continue in the problem. And yes, business is one of the answers, but we have to create the condition to sustain that. You have seen that the tourism industry has collapsed in North Africa and the Middle East. This is a clear sign of the level of distress we are going through. The answer lies, as my predecessor has said, in harmonized market, harmonized rule, harmonized procedure. The common market would be ideal, and this was one of the promises which came up a few years ago, if you remember. And we are still pushing for that. But as long as we have situations such as the one of the agreement Morocco-EU, then is put into discussion after the signature, you will have also a very negative attitude by a number of countries which see their investment, both politically and economic, confronting the wall that they found with us Europeans. Thank you very much.